always has to be a shot at somebody.
No.
They're never clean.
They have to run. That's the only shot they have.
They do it for 82 games. We're about to find out.
He already has shown what he's capable of.
Did surprise me. I thought we were going to hang in there.
This makes me think that we do need to be humble.
I actually think you're the only one who deserved that.
I actually think you're the only one that deserved that beating. Final words from John Zanis on the new intro. And Sherrod, it felt like a bit of a beating tonight, especially in that second quarter as the Boston Celtics lose their second game of the season in 2 games. 105-95 to the New York Knicks, the same Knicks team that booted them last year. We don't want to talk about that playoff series. A lot went down, but I don't know, Sherrod. It's a Friday night. I want to feel good. I want to feel happy that we got through the week. I want to feel good about
watch this game, Jimmy. So how can you feel good and happy?
Good about the NBA season starting up and the Celtics taking the court, but I just don't feel good right now. I don't feel good after this loss, Sherrod. There was a couple bright spots. We'll get into them, but we're not going to go full green goggles yet. We'll wait for Bobby and Noah to jump on and tell us all about Ugo Gonzalez, who is the next big star in Boston after his NBA debut tonight. And we'll get into Ugo Gonzalez in a little bit. For some reason, Amit's got the Peyton Pritchard lower third going on here. Damn it, Amit! Fix that, man. Thought you were paying attention. There we go. Celtics lose to the Knicks again, 105-95. Sherrod, what went wrong in this one? Let's I guess start from the first half. That second quarter there. It looked like the Celtics jumped. Looks like there was going to be a competitive game. They jump into that first quarter lead, hitting some shots. Joe's getting creative with the lineups, going full subs like it was rec league back in the 90s, and you know you're just waiting for the bad kids to play and get your 4 minutes before you can go back in. What happened from the first quarter to the second quarter where this game got so far out of reach for Boston? They went down 20 points.
Well, I mean, this game, there are lots of things that did not go their way. I mean, it's almost like you can look at what went their way and have that be a very short conversation. The things that jumped out in this game more than anything else, I thought, was the offensive rebounding. They gave New York way too many second and third shot opportunities. And the Celtics transition defense. They did not do a good job of limiting New York getting out and running. New York was able to get to the free throw line, knock down shots. They were doing anything they wanted to in transition for the most part. And the Celtics did not put up enough resistance to that. And throw in the fact that, we've talked about this before. Your best players are going to have to play their best games. And Peyton Pritchard was not very good in this game. Derek White for long stretches was not very good. And Jaylen Brown, this is the thing about Jaylen. Before the season started, when he played with Tatum, he was what you'd consider a top 15, top 20, top 25 player. Mm-hmm. Now he's still a top 15, top 20, top 25 player, and there's no Tatum around. And that's a problem. He has to be better than we've seen him before. He has to become a better version of Jaylen Brown. And that's just not happening. He's not playing bad. Jaylen is playing, he's putting up pretty much the numbers before. He's not playing, Jimmy, he is not playing bad.
Sherrod, don't make me do it. I don't want to start the show on this note, but Jaylen Brown, I can't say he's been playing great basketball. In fact,
he's not been playing great.
Watching him up there on the court, he looks like half of the Jaylen Brown that I'm used to seeing.
This is
half
the way
speed.
His overall, I'm looking at his game from beginning to end, and overall, he's giving you pretty much the same production he gave you with Tatum. And that's my thing. He's not elevating his play in terms of his stats, and he's not elevating the play of those guys around him, in part because they're not making the shots. He had a couple of really nice plays where he got guys the ball in spots that they should knock shots down, like Peyton Pritchard, and it didn't happen. So they are exactly where they're supposed to be. Joe Mazzulla had never lost an opening game until this year. They've now dropped their first 2. It's been a minute since they've started off this poorly. And there's some positive things that they did in this game, but for the most part, their inability to control the glass, their inability to not allow New York to get out and run, which is crazy because New York was like the Celtics last year, incredibly slow team, not really a big pace team, and yet they were able to really get out and score with ease on fast breaking transition opportunities. the Joe Mazzulla has his work cut out for him, to say the very least.
I think even though you see a lot of the same faces on that New York Knicks roster, I think their style of play is going to be a little bit different this year. You know, they got a new coach. They're ready to go. They know where the expectations are, and they see that the East is wide open. And, you know, if the Knicks are a lot of experts' picks to come out of the East. I'm not saying that they're picks to win the whole thing, but this is going to be a big year for the Knicks, and I'm not sure yet what that means for the Celtics in terms of what their season, where the direction their season's going in. But Sherrod, I'll have to agree with you on a couple points there. The second chance points were non-existent for Boston and everywhere for the Knicks. It was, like you said, those opportunities, those offensive rebounds. I don't know if it was positioning for Boston. I don't know if it's, I mean, of course it's positioning, right? I think a lot of that has to do with skill. I think also the transition. What do we keep hearing about Boston going into the season, Sherrod? That they're going to want to run, get out on the break, get stops, get out in transition. I think they had 4 points, fast break points tonight.
Yeah, I think
they had 2.
Yeah, and I think most of those came from the free throw line. 2
recorded fast break points tonight to the Knicks 15, and then points. Let me see here. Second chance points, Knicks 21 and Celtics 7. Now, honestly, the Knicks probably could have had more. They missed a lot of second chance opportunities, as many as they had. I mean, they were getting second, third, fourth chances off offensive boards. It just felt like Boston was a step behind all game. And I go back to the leaders of this team, Sherrod, Jaylen Brown, Derek White, both guys who looked off from the start in this one. Peyton Pritchard as well. I mean, he could not hit a three to save his life in that first half there. And you go down 20 points. You really play sloppy late in that second quarter. I think it was floating around 10, 12 points with a couple minutes left, still striking distance. And then I saw Brown with the lazy turnover. I saw just some ill-advised shots. Derek White, when he misses right now, he really misses. I mean, he's been really off in a few of his shots, whether it's a big brick or even an air ball. So you look at the players at the top who are going to have to sort of steer this ship here, and you don't need Brown and White to play good. You need them to play great in order for you to really compete in this game. I mean, the Celtics put 95 points. And unfortunately, this to me looks like the type of score you're going to see offensively when the heads of your snake aren't firing on all cylinders. I mean, they even got production out of Hauser tonight. I think it was maybe 18 or something like that.
Yeah.
So you're going to get that game where that, third or fourth guy is going to contribute, right? But if you're not getting a combined, 55-ish from White and Brown, which you didn't get anywhere close to that tonight, it's not going to matter what Hauser gives you or what Pritchard gives you, because you still need to find 55, 60 points at the top in order to hit that 105-ish, 110 number. And so that's my big concern with this team. Defensively, I think they can scrap and claw. That's effort, right? At least until you get towards late in the year and what's to play for. But right now, I think, if they're being coached up well enough, they're going to fight out there. They're going to scratch and claw, and I think they did give the Knicks some trouble at points in this game, certainly. And give Celtics credit. They hung around, right? They kept it to, within 10, they got into within 9, but, Brunson ended up being too much for them down the stretch there. And it's a similar story in ways where it's the opponent's big name player. On Wednesday, it was Maxey, right? And tonight it was Brunson who hit that 30-point plateau and kind of had his way with things.
Yeah, and that can happen, particularly when you're going in most games a significant / severe underdog, and you just never really got a feel for Boston truly having control of this game. They had this stretch where they got the lead, and that felt good. But at no point did you feel as though that they were controlling the action and that they were going to win this thing going away. And to your point earlier, Jimmy, I think we're going to see a lot of games like this where they're just going to hang around, and not get over the hump. They'll be right there, but not quite able to get over the hump. And it's, this was just a weird game. It felt like this was a game for the taking for the Celtics. That this was a game that could have been one of those. If they get off to a great start, and in 3 weeks from now they're sitting atop the East, this would have been one of those type of games that would have been the catalyst of that. But now, I mean, we're 2 games into the season, and we're still waiting to see who this team is. What can they do? it's rough, man. These streets are rough for the Green.
It might not be that you're still waiting to see who they are, Sherrod, or whoever out there watching. It might just be that you don't like what you see, and you're not ready to see what you see. I mean, that could be part of it, right? I don't want to get too deep on everybody. And again, it is only 2 games in here. But you're talking to somebody who predicted them to miss the playoffs. So I can't sit here and say that I'm stunned that they lost to this Knicks team on the road.
I was waiting for the victory lap, Jimmy. I was
not
waiting
taking
for
the victory lap. I'm not taking the victory lap. I'm just saying that I think if you can sort of take a step back and look at where the Knicks are right now and where they hope to be at the end of the season, and you look at where the Celtics are and where, realistically you think they could be, then I don't think you can walk away from this game shocked or stunned or extremely disappointed about how it went. I think you come out of here thinking, okay, that's kind of what we thought might happen, and it did happen. Now, you might not like some of the things in that game. You might not like the way Jaylen Brown looked, or maybe you did like the way he looked, Sherrod. I personally thought that he looked a little lethargic out there at times. I think that he made some sloppy passing, certainly down this late in that fourth quarter. He threw the ball out of bounds to literally nobody. And he's still going to be Jaylen Brown in spurts. He's still going to make his move to the basket, and he got his, he ended up that points number ticked up there. But did you ever once tonight say Jaylen Brown is taking control of this game, or Jaylen Brown is in a groove right now, or he's really letting the game come to him, or anything remotely close to that? I mean, we put the numbers up on the board. 23 points from Brown. Again, you're going to need close to 30 from Brown every single night. And honestly, there's no reason to believe he can't give you anywhere near that with the role that he has in this team. 9 of 18 from the field. You might look at that and say that's pretty efficient. 3 of 7 from 3, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. And there's that last number, Sherrod, that you hate to see. 7 turnovers. And a minus 14. He was minus 20 at half, by the way, with the Celtics down 20. So I can't at any point in this show say that Jaylen Brown was not part of the problem tonight. I think he was a big part of the problem. And he's going to be a big part of the solutions on most of the nights where they win, and he's going to be a big part of the problem on most nights when they lose. And that's the what you get when you want to be the alpha, or when you're the number one on this team, is you get the praise and then you get the criticism. So tonight it's going to be criticism. And so what Jaylen Brown are we going to see this year? Are we going to see the same Jaylen Brown that we've seen in past seasons, where he's, the 1A, and he's a guy that on any given night can look like a top, 5 player in the NBA? Or are we going to get a Jaylen Brown that looks like maybe he's hobbling a little bit, looks like maybe he's not full speed, looks like he's not playing his style of basketball, which is attack mode? I don't want to see, listen, let me step back for a second. I do want to see Jaylen Brown with good court vision, and I do want to see him make the extra pass and make the smart play and play heady basketball. Right? I want to see all those things. But at the end of the day, I want to see the Jaylen Brown that's going to be the athletic specimen Jaylen Brown, that's going to out-muscle you, that's going to out-freak you athletically on the court, and it's going to go into some sort of a takeover mode. And I want him to be the guy that can score from behind the arc, and at the same time can take 2 steps and be at the rim. That's what I'm looking to see. It's a tough start to the year that we don't see that type of Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, because that's literally who he is. And he's trying to walk that fine line between being true to himself and what he can do, and being an encouragement of sorts to his teammates, who talent-wise they're just not him. And it's tough, because Jaylen needs to be, I think, and it's crazy to think this, but he needs to be a little bit more aggressive and assertive offensively. I think he doesn't he doesn't call his number nearly as much as he should, particularly when there's no Tatum around. If your numbers are damn near identical without Tatum as they are with Tatum, that's something wrong when you're the next man up as a scorer. Your numbers should be better. And I don't know if they're going to be. And
that's the thing. We're 2 games in here, so we're not going to try to project all 82 games. But I think it's clear that, roles have to change on this team. Everybody's role is expanded now, Sherrod. You've got, obviously, we talked about Brown and what he needs to look like out there on the court. I think Derek White has gotten the message that he needs to be more aggressive, and I think we actually have seen that. And I'm not saying he wasn't aggressive at all last year, but there was clearly points where he had to sort of take a step back as, Tatum kind of took over late in the games and Brown was trying to do his thing. I think this year you are going to see a Derek White who is going to take control and might even do so more than Jaylen Brown, based on what I'm kind of seeing so far, at least as things kind of unfold in front of our eyes here. It feels like Derek White is the active player on this team, is the guy that, is going to take the rock and not be scared to take 15 threes, right? I'm not saying that's what you want to see on any given night, but he's not going to be afraid.
Yeah, well, you can see that on any given night.
Exactly. I mean, he took 11 tonight. And, the problem with tonight, Sherrod, is that he was way off. And you talk about, we can talk about Jaylen Brown all we want, but if we're going to talk about Jaylen Brown and criticize him, we got to criticize Derek White. Not so much for the turnovers. And I wouldn't say that Derek White's style of play looks any different. I'm just saying simply when his shot's not falling and he's taking a lot more, you're going to run into big issues, because I said it last show, who's coming to save you, right? Pritchard hasn't found it yet through 2 games. Shout out Hauser. And we are going to talk positives tonight at some point. Not right away. We'll probably leave it for the Green Teamers part of the segment when Bobby and Noah come on.
We'll
talk Hauser. We'll certainly talk Gonzalez. And those guys, listen, if Gonzalez is the bright spot tonight, I'm happy about that. That's the silver lining in this one, because it does feel like Gonzalez is already leaps and bounds ahead of some of the other guys that have been in the league longer than him. And I think you're going to see a lot of people are clamoring in the chat. Got some text during the game. Got to get more Gonzalez. Got to get more Gonzo. Got to get more Gonzalez. Got to get more. I think you're going to get more. Everybody relax. Yeah. I think this is the type of season where you're certainly, if you're Joe Mazzulla, looking for anybody to slide in and to step up and to be a player that can contribute. So I think you're definitely going to get more Gonzalez. So we'll talk about him. We'll talk about Hauser. But even those two, shot. If you're the type of fan who is expecting this team to make the playoffs or make a run in any capacity, even those guys are capped at what they can give you. It's the Browns and the Whites that need to do their thing. So it's tough on a night where Brown's turning the ball over 7 times and Derek White's shooting 3 of 11 from 3 and 5 of 18 from the field.
All right.
I mean, is that a cause for concern, or is that just a tough shooting night? Because I don't know if necessarily the Knicks were doing anything specifically to make Derek White, to make things difficult for Derek White. I think obviously they do play tough D, and I think they do have players on this team, Hart, and guys that can get into players pretty significantly. But I just think there was a lot of shots that just looked way off tonight.
Yeah, and I don't know if there's any magical solution or potion or X's and O's that's going to fix that and fix it quickly. So I think that's one of those problems that they're going to be dealing with to some capacity all season long. But can they minimize its impact on their play and winning? And I'm very pessimistic about that. I just don't think that they're built to withstand a lot of the typical ups and downs that the NBA season presents. So this is a really difficult team to get a vibe on, because the good news is they're in the Eastern Conference, which is incredibly wide open. The bad news is that there's a lot of teams that on paper are better than them in the East, and that's something that we're not accustomed to seeing. And so they're still trying to figure out how to navigate all this. And we're only 2 games into it, so there's no need to hit the panic button. But there should be a raised level of concern about this team when you look at just the way that they've lost these first 2 games on nights when they did a lot of things that positioned them to maybe steal a win. So this is going to be one of them damn seasons, man.
It's going to be one of them damn seasons, and I'm told that we have Joe Mazzulla ready to go. But before we go to Joe, we want to remind everybody that their Garden Report is brought to you by our good friends at Prize Picks. That's right. Toss that up there, Ahmed. Thank you very much. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this basketball season or football season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. And I know the NBA season is just getting underway, Sherrod. We can go more. We can go less on a number of NBA players right now. I think if you're watching Celtics games, you might be thinking less. I hate to say it, but hey, who's to say? Who's to say? It's a little too early, Sherrod. But the great thing about Prize Picks, it's the only app that offers stacks meaning you can pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. You want to pick more on let's talk football. You want to pick more on Josh Allen's pass yards, rush yards, and touchdowns. Now you can pick all of them in the same lineup only on Prize Picks. You can do the same with Drake Mayshrod. I think we're going to be talking Patriots a lot more on these types of shows than we have been. But download Prize Picks and use the code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. And we're going to see just how good it is to be Joe Mazzulla right now. We're going to go to him after the Celtics drop this one to the Knicks.
Yeah, so, I mean, the transition comes from a combination of not getting the offensive rebound. I think at one point we only had 5 offensive rebounds. Live ball turnovers. I think we had, I forgot how many turnovers that we had in the game, but, and then obviously the offensive rebounding. So it's a combination of those 3 things. So we have to clean those up. Those are areas that you can control. Those are areas that just require effort and discipline and building the habit of that. But, back-to-back games where gave ourselves a chance, but we had two 42-point quarters, so we got to clean that up.
Wow. Damn.
No, you have to execute the details and the discipline. I mean, maybe playing in a different system, but, for some of them, but no, they're just details that you have to build a habit of executing that discipline. And if you look at a 48-minute game, no one has played a perfect 48-minute game. I thought last game maybe we played 12 to 16 minutes of the way that we need to play on both ends. Tonight I thought it was, closer to 24. So we just have to continue to get that number up as high as possible, and it's just the effort and the details and the discipline. I don't think we had a steal to the third quarter, and I think we had, 5 or 6. Just played at a much faster pace. I thought, obviously we used pace offensively. I thought our pace defensively was good. And we just have to continue that up. And I thought we competed. I thought we sprinted to our spots. I thought we executed. I thought we moved the ball. I thought we did the things that we need to do. But, it wasn't enough because, we didn't do them in the second quarter.
Ugo was part of that kind of swing in the second half. What's your message to him when he's coming into the game? Like, what is his number? I know everybody has everything, but is there something in particular that you're looking for him to bring?
What he did. I mean, he's been well coached, before he's gotten here. So obviously being a part of a great organization, having great coaches, so he's understand, what it takes. And, I think he has a clear understanding of what his role is, and it's to, defend at the highest of levels and play with a level of, effort on the offensive end, and he's able to do that. So there's things he needs to clean up, obviously, but, I thought he did a great job helping set that third quarter tone with his effort and his toughness.
You're talking Ugo there, huh?
Yep.
Ugo.
Left. Ugo right.
Yeah. Again, some of those fouls are going to come. I think we also forced 20 turnovers, so some of those are going to come. I think there's the situational ones that we have to get better at, whether it's the ones that you have to clean up on a player's tendencies, but again, we forced 20 turnovers, so I think a little bit of that comes with it. Again, with the rebounding, we have to combat it in 3 ways. We have to be as physical as we can rebounding. We have to get offensive rebounds, and we have to force more turnovers. So it's a 3-thing approach to getting that. There were moments of physicality defensively. We can be better at that, and then we got to combat it with offensive rebounding and us forcing turnovers and us not turning it over. I think if you look at those 4 categories: defensive rebounding, offensive rebound, forcing turnovers, not turning it over, we probably have a better chance at controlling 3 out of the 4 of those with our effort and our ability to control those things. And so we got to fight for those.
That's a lot of words.
That's a lot.
Yeah. 12 minutes closer. We did it for 12 minutes last game. We probably did it for 20 to 24 today. So we're 12 minutes closer. And that's what we have to figure out. And I told the guys, there are teams that can ease into a season, and there are teams that can do that. But we have to have a sense of urgency to develop in the identity that we need. And I thought they showed that, in the second half. I mean, I still think you can hold guys to a higher standard. I mean, again, there's a result here. Like, at the end of the day, there's an expectation to win, but it's to win by the process of doing what we need to do. So the standard comes from holding them accountable to the process. Tonight, we had a miscommunication on a play that we walked through. We had a miscommunication on a read offensively. We can control those things regardless of if you're a rookie or a 12-year vet. Like, those are the things. So I think it's holding accountable to the things that we can control, and that's a high standard. And to me, you can't budge on that. And like I said, they're going to make mistakes, and that's okay. But they got to be mistakes of aggression and mistakes of opportunity, not mistakes of not playing hard. And I thought the second quarter was a little bit of mistakes of aggression, but I thought we got outplayed in that corner, and we just can't get outplayed. Mm-hmm. Well, we're 0-2, so it starts there, I would say. And the second piece is there's different ways to be great, and easing into an identity, understanding who we are and who we can be. We want to get to that faster than other teams can. I think that's being an advantage, and I think we have an ability to do that. So, we've shown signs of learning about that in our film sessions and our practices, and again, we've showed 12 minutes better, but we gotta. I felt a sense of urgency to getting to that identity faster. Thanks.
All right.
All right. So that is Joe Mazzulla talking to media after Celtics again dropped to 0-2 on the season after a 105-95 loss to the Knicks. Looks like Joe is a little critical of the physicality tonight in this one, Sherrod, or at least in bits and pieces. And I will say that did stand out to me a little bit on the glass. I think it just felt like the Knicks, I'm not going to say it was better positioning, but it just felt like they were just getting the balls quicker off the boards, off the rim, off the backboard. They were fighting for a little bit more. I saw some Celtics players hit the deck a few times. And again, I'm not saying it's an effort thing. I just think the Knicks were more physical out there, and it showed. And I think it showed when you look at the rebound discrepancy on the offensive rebounds there, when I think the Knicks had 21 offensive rebounds.
That's insane.
Compared to 7, I think, or 9 maybe from Boston. And that obviously contributes to the second chance points that they were able to put up. Yeah.
And it's just a collection of cluster, for the Celtics in this one. A lot of the things that they know they have to do to win, they just didn't do. A lot of the things that they had to minimize their impact were things that, they got the doors blown off in this one. The final score does not indicate the control that New York had over. This was not a 10-point game. This was a game that the victor should have won by significantly more than that, because so many of the things that, again, the Celtics are accustomed to doing and wanting to do, it just didn't happen. And I don't feel good about how often it'll happen going forward. At some point, they're going to these kids are going to have to grow up really quick, or they're going to have to do something to just slow down the bleeding. And we'll get into it a little bit later. But for me, my favorite part of the game was seeing Ugo out there. I thought he did so many good things that.
We're 30 minutes in. We can go positive for a stretch here. Why don't we toss up Ugo's stat line there, and we'll chat about him for a second.
Because the thing about teams that are built the way the Celtics are right now is that your players have to do one of two things. They either have to put up big numbers or they have to make a big impact. And those two things are not necessarily mutually exclusive or combined, for that matter. And Hugo, I don't think his numbers were huge, but I thought his impact was great. Lots of hustle plays, getting guys, the ball in the different spots. He picked up 4 fouls, but he was also guarding an All-NBA player in Brunson. So, the 18, 19-year-old rookie guarding the All-NBA guy, I thought he did a good job for the most part. And Sam Hauser, we talked about him for a little bit as well. He had a really good game. But the thing about Hugo that I really like is that the things that he did, for the most part, are the things that you don't need to call his number. You don't need to make any definitive plans to get him involved. He's just going to simply play his game, and that game is going to make him someone that's involved. I thought he did a great job, defensively. And yes, he picked up 4 fouls, but he was active. He was hustling. He was giving you good energy. He was doing what your backups are supposed to do. Get in the game, cause a little ruckus, get the folks fired up. And if you're on the road, you want to make sure that you're doing something that can, keep you afloat in the game or potentially surge ahead. And I just thought that Ugo, for most of this game, checked off a lot of those boxes for the Celtics.
I'm just glad Joe didn't pull the pump fake again and take him out, at the scorer's table like he did in game 1. But I'll say I was watching pretty closely in the second quarter, that the infamous second quarter when Boston was struggling. And although he was out there for some of those points, I saw him all over the place. Not necessarily saying that he was positively or negatively affecting the play at that point in that quarter. I saw him get knocked around a few times. I saw him complain to the referees a few times because I think he felt like he was getting shoved by Brunson there a couple of times. And then he kind of got bodied on a rebound opportunity. And then on the baseline inbounds, he got caught sleeping, which is fine. It is what it is. But third quarter specifically, when the Celtics went on a little bit of a mini run there to try to make it a game again, he was a huge part of that. And I think the fact that Joe went to him and stayed with him in that third quarter is him acknowledging Ugo's positive effect in that quarter. And just by being active, Shard, like you said, just by being himself, not being asked to take on a scoring role or do anything other than play hard, be active, move around, help on defense, run out on the break, all of those things. Get your hands in there and just try to be a pest, in any way possible. And if that's how he's going to make an effect in this team, he's already like 7th on the depth chart. Literally, you can go over this roster right now, and you've got your starters. You can toss, you've got your starters, Kada, whether he's a starter on any given game, Simons, and then I think it's Ugo. I mean, who else could it be? He's past Sharman. He's past Walsh. He's past Minot. He's past obviously Garza. Who am I missing? I mean, I think he's one of the guys that you're going to see coming off the bench, moving forward here. And I think this is the season where you have to take advantage of that playing opportunity. We talked about finding who is, if this happens to be a competitive season, great. But if it happens to be a lost season, who are you taking with you into next year where you expect to compete again? Who's coming along for that journey, right? Because it's not going to be this roster next year. I can guarantee you that. There's going to be players playing elsewhere, whether that's in the NBA or another league elsewhere. They're not going to be here in Boston. Who is going to be here? And I think, and again, it's one game. It's 23 minutes of basketball for Gonzalez here in his NBA debut. But I think he did more than enough to show that he can be a part of this rotation and contribute in winning ways. Now, I'd like to see the shot a little bit more over time, just to see what we're kind of working with here, how that's developing, and especially at the NBA level. But I don't want to force that. Until we get to that point, let Derek White, let Brown, let Pritchard, let Hauser, let them, get Simons, who's obviously a great outside shooter, let them put the shots up. As far as I'm concerned, Gonzalez, be active, create turnovers, get out on the break, find the open guy, do the dirty work, because you're a rookie, kid. Like, by the way, carry everybody's bags out to the bus after too. That's your role on this team. And so that's the huge, really single bright spot. If you want to talk about, positives from this night, is that he's already leaps ahead of some of these other guys towards the end of this bench. And this is a guy that you actually can try to build with. I'm not saying you're going to build around him. I'm not saying he's the next Tatum or anything like that. But what is the Celtics team missing, Shrod? It's young talent. It's guys that they can draft and keep. Other than Pritchard, who have you been able to do that for recently?
Yeah, you haven't had many shots at that. No.
So this might be the next guy that you can do that with. And so let's take that positive. How about that? On a Friday night, huh?
I'll buy that. I'll buy that. Because frankly, it's going to be difficult for Celtics Nation this season because they've grown accustomed to
Let them down
double-digit
easy.
winning streaks and only winning like 52, 53 games. And it's going to be tough, but we'll find out. We'll find out very soon, what this team is made of. Now, obviously, the next game isn't going to be the be-all, end-all, but every game that gets them closer towards the end of the season, I think a layer of who they are is peeled back and revealed. And that's, again, as they're trying to figure out how to just kind of, jumpstart winning games, it's important. It's going to be very important for them to be authentic in what they're looking to do and things of that nature. But this game was not fun, Jimmy. Not fun at all. Not fun at freaking all.
Let me ask you this, Sherrod. Is this game not being fun? Is that because of the Celtics or because of the Knicks?
I would say that it's more because of the Celtics.
Why is that?
I didn't think the Knicks did anything all that particularly special. I thought a lot of the issues that the Celtics had were just their own personal mismanagement of moments. It's just they have to be. Not only do they have to be competitive, but when they have a team that is showing some clear vulnerability, they need to be able to pounce on that. Like the Knicks, this was not a good game for the Knicks. They did a great job in terms of.
What do good teams do, Sherrod?
They find ways to win, even when they basically the Celtics got Celtic'd tonight by the Knicks.
Right.
This is what they did in the past. They play a team that they'd be favored to win by 20. Game will be tossed up in the first 3 quarters. They win by 15.
Yeah. And that's the tough. You kind of just nailed it. That's the tough part is the Celtics are now the team that the Celtics used to just be able to beat by kind of just like showing up, doing a few frustrating things, but ultimately they're just too talented to lose, to a team that really is a fringe playoff team at best. That's kind of, how this game went. And I guess the saving grace here is that the Celtics didn't play well either. It wasn't like the Celtics gave you their best shot and still came up short. It was that, they didn't have it tonight either offensively, starting at the top. We got a couple super chats here that I want to go to before Bobby and Noah jump on here. Our good friend John, who's got the burger. John's got the burger. I guess you call it like a burger cart. I don't know the exact term, John. You can correct me on that, but I think we got to do a CLNS Garden Report. We'll do a live show I think we got to do some kind of live show at the Eat Some Burger Show. Anyways, John says, "Soft tank, let's go." Crazy how teams 27, 8, and 6 doesn't just appear out of thin air, huh? I guess he actually is the Celtics' best player.
Wow.
I don't know if that's a shot at anybody, but I think if you underappreciated Tatum, and I'm not just saying that a lot of people did, but if you did, this might be a season where that appreciation shows itself a little bit. But John's in on the soft tank. I think you're going to find some other people in John's boat at some point. Jared Scott, thank you as well. Simons should replace Pritchard in the starting lineup. I had a buddy text me tonight saying the same exact thing. Shout out my buddy Dave.
Already.
Thinking that it might not – listen, we can agree that Pritchard has not been shooting well to start the season. Is that whether that is due to him being in the starting lineup or not, Sherrod, do you see a situation that Joe gets a little creative here with some of the lineups and says, Pritchard was sixth man of the year. He obviously excels in that role. Of course, it's a different roster and there's different players around him, regardless of whether he's starting or coming off the bench this time. Mm-hmm. But does it get to a point where Mazzulla says, why don't we just try putting him back in the six-man role and see how he does coming into the game a few minutes in? He's still going to get, the same amount of playing time, let's say, but maybe it's just in different intervals, different, opposing players, different parts of the game. And maybe Simons is a guy that, maybe he's better starting the game, getting a couple early shots off, try to get in some sort of rhythm since he's, a volume 3-point shooter. Is there something to be said about that possibility?
There is, but this, I'm telling you, this team, they have to get some of the biggest questions marks that we've had with this team, and it's a more of a team question than an individual one, is consistency, chemistry, compete level. Those are, to me, if this team is going to have any shot of being more than expected, they're going to have to excel in those three areas. And what we've seen, Jimmy, in these first couple of games is we've seen guys in what can, I think, be described as elevated roles. Derek White, you're no longer the third or fourth or fifth option. You're the number two guy. And you look at Simons, no longer are you getting out there with the first unit ready to drop 20. You're coming off the bench where on a good night you might get 15. Guys there's definitely some adjustment going on with the roles that they're going to play, but I just don't get a feel that the Celtics are going to get appreciably better as the season goes on, because they're still going to be smaller than most teams. And I will say this: the decision to have Boucher out there, I think, for some pretty long stretches versus the other two bigs, I think you've got to play a style that gives you the best shot of winning. I thought Joe Mazzulla did some really good coaching things here because they knew New York wanted to run a lot of pick and roll, and they had, the way they set their defense up was when they would run the pick and roll with Brunson, he would have a guard on him. That's when you see guys like Jalen Brunson guarding like Cat, because if they run the pick and roll, Jalen switches out, and so now you've got to beat him off the dribble if you're Brunson. So I thought, from an X's and O's standpoint, I thought there was a lot that the Celtics did that was good. But again, the rebounding, the transition defense, bench scoring, I think is another one that certainly didn't help. I mean, I think they made 2 or 3 scores. So there's definitely some work for them to do going forward. To me, the silver lining in all this is that we're so early in the season, they could easily turn things around and shock the world. But right now, they just got to find a way to play a little bit more consistently and seal the deal when they're in position to win a game.
And speaking of shock the world, Bobby Manning with that beautiful beard, it's growing in, my friend. Is that a regular season beard? Because I don't know if we're growing playoff beards. By the way, this season has started for Boston.
I'm gonna keep it until they get a win.
Okay.
How about that?
Okay.
How about that?
They play
Bobby,
Detroit.
I might have said that one in the chat, Bobby. I might have said it in the text chat rather than put that on actual. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So
that's the 2007 19 game losing streak, Sherrod. Q.
So ready.
We still need to do a poll in the chat. I've been asking a lot of people about it, but anyway.
I don't think you'll like what they say. Let's just.
I'm not going to follow what people say. I'm just interested.
Good. And you shouldn't. You should you should be you, Bobby.
Be you.
So,
absolutely.
So that's fitting for what I'm about to talk about here, because I was asking all the guys, I was asking Joe after the game, and it felt kind of weird because they're just 0-2, right? And you were just saying to Jimmy, they could figure it out here and turn things around, and they've won 5 out of the 8 quarters or whatever it is. Like, there's a lot I can look at right now and say, okay, maybe this turns around. But the stretches they've gone on where they've lost, some of the devastating, like the fourth quarter against Philly and obviously the second quarter here tonight that lost them this, it does have to be setting in for the new guys, or for the guys who have been here a little bit, like, ooh, this year is about to be different. Like, this is much different.
Is that the vibe you're getting, Bobby? You've been at both games.
I was feeling out that vibe. I want to see where they were at with it. And for Joe, I think it's setting in a little bit. Like, there does have to be a balance between the high expectations and knowing that younger guys, less experienced guys on this roster just aren't going to get it right away. And I think you've seen it. You guys play it down. He's not freaking out. He's not, going to war with us about what we're saying and, just having these back and forth. He understands what this is going to be here. And he's still, pulling guys in and out of games, still being tough on them. But I don't think it's getting to him. And again, we're 2 games in, the way we thought it might have. Maybe he got all out of his steam in the preseason and the media game, but I sense a calm and patience from him. I think he said something to the effect, and I don't have the quote exactly, like, there's got to be an urgency and a patience, something to that effect. And I think that's where they're all at. Like, they know this thing could go off the rails pretty quickly here. We've acknowledged it as well when we look at the schedule over the next week or two. But there has to be a patience too. And I said all summer, I expect a bad start. Like, how could you not? Where are you middle of the season, later of the season? And I asked Noah, who's waiting by here to join, are we going to have a feel for where this team's at? I asked after our last game, Noah, are we going to have a feel for where this team's at 2 weeks in? And I'm with you. I don't think we will. Like, if this is a brutal 2-week stretch here and it's looking like it could be, I don't think that's necessarily going to tell the tale of where they're at later in the year. But you can't start 0-6 or 0-7 or, some of the worst case scenarios you can think of here.
Noah,
is Mo here? Is Mo here?
Mo is here. Yes, Mo is.
I thought Mo might like my background.
Yeah, Mo is.
Fans are gonna hate this, Noah. I intentionally made Noah go the Knicks side.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
She's at the podium. Any questions for Noah after his 105?
Noah's already jumping off the ship. She's on
95 win.
She's on the Knicks bandwagon.
I guess so. Noah, Bobby, both of you guys. Me and Sherrod have been talking for a bit about this game. We talked a lot of negatives. Before we get into the positives, what are some of the takeaways from this game? We know about the infamous second quarter. Is there something about that quarter? And we did hear Joe after, but we couldn't hear the questions as well. So if you guys could enlighten us on maybe what Joe had to say about what went wrong in that second quarter, and maybe what went right for them in the third. Differences there. Let's start with Noah. How about that?
Yeah. It felt like you were the teacher for a second. It's like a 9-part question. I think the biggest thing in this game
was my Gary Washburn question.
If I had to pick one thing, it would be just, I think, across the game was the rebounding, which we knew going into the season, just based off roster construction, was going to be a challenge. We knew based off preseason that even after wins, there was a massive rebounding disparity. And I think there was a 21 offensive rebounds for the Knicks, 6 for Josh Hart, and 6 for, who was the other guy with 6 on the Knicks? Karl Anthony Towns. Offensive rebounds. So that I think that's kind of where the game was lost on the glass. Even in the second half where they were making a push, there were multiple times where they had multiple offensive rebounds on a possession, and the Knicks didn't even convert them super well. I think they were 5 of 17 on second chance points. So it could have been worse, but that's going to continue to be a theme. And I thought Joe gave a pretty transparent answer post-game about the factors that go into minimizing that. And it's not just crashing the glass, but it's getting more of your own offensive rebounds. It's not turning the ball over. Like, there are things that put them out of position. But I couldn't help but think there was also, because of the style of defense that they're playing right now, they're finding themselves scrambling more than they would when they were just playing.
Oh, did we lose Noah?
It's like, that you did recover.
Oh, you're back.
You got me?
Yep. We lost you for a second.
Just I think the defensive system puts them a little bit out of position already, and then they're also a little bit undersized. So Jalen's brought that up after both games, that's a challenge. That's something that they're going to have to deal with.
And I said this to you, Jimmy. I texted you during the game too, because I know you were interested in this. But the fact that this team's going to give up threes this year because they're scrambling around, because they're throwing extra help in the lane, I thought the Knicks keyed into that pretty precisely throughout the game. Like, they were on it where the help was coming from. They were getting shots out of the corners. They were getting shots above the break when it was coming from there. And they hit a lot of threes in this game. So that's something they're balancing here. It's great that they're forcing a lot of turnovers. I like the defensive activity, but it's coming at the cost of a lot of 3-pointers. And maybe we can sit here and say there'll be some teams that aren't as good at shooting, or there'll be some bad shooting nights in the other direction that they'll take advantage of, and that'll sort itself out and their opponents will regress to the mean. I would have to guess, if we were looking at the expected shooting so far for the Knicks and the Sixers, it wouldn't be as good as it's been here. But you're going to ride that wave a little bit this year if you're giving up a lot of 3-point attempts of other team gets hot and hits them all, other team cools down and they win on that. And that's the ride they've been waving offensive. That's the wave they've been riding offensively for a while here, obviously, right? Miss threes. That's actually the wave they're going to be riding defensively this year, it feels like, because they're going to give up a lot of 3-pointers. How many open threes were the Knicks shooting in this game? It was a ton.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. What did you guys think about the lack of transition basketball from Boston. I mean, all going into the regular season. What were you saying, Bobby? They're going to run. They're going to get her on the break. They're going to maximize field goal attempts. And then tonight, how was that fast break differential? The fast break points differential was staggering.
They couldn't get a rebound, Jimmy. How do you get on the break if you don't get a rebound? Now, they forced turnovers, too, and didn't turn them into points, but...
So how do you fix it? How do you get rebounds? Joe talked about being more physical, it looked like, at the podium. Is that something that you guys noticed out there, that they were just out-muscled?
I don't know what you can do, Noah. They're playing small. They don't have a lot of good rebounders on the floor. This is going to just keep killing them.
They're going to be a bottom rebounding team, yes, but the disparity today was massive. It was 53 to 37 in total rebounds in this game. So,
wow.
I think we can absorb some of that is just roster construction, and that's the way it's going to be. And they have to give something up, and they have advantages in other areas. But it's not going to be like that. Tonight's not going to work for them all season long. And I think you heard both Joe and Jaylen acknowledge that post game. Jaylen acknowledged that there were some that were long that just kind of slipped through their hands, but there's some that they have to be nastier on the glass. That's what he said, right? And I think you saw that. So to me, I think that's the number one thing that I take away from both these games so far. So that's going to continue to be an issue, but it's not at all a surprise. I mean, this was literally the number one topic of discussion before the season even started. I think where they lost a little bit of, where as far as where there's some variability, you look at Peyton Pritchard and Derek White. I think you're typically going to get more from those two on an average night. They combined for 4 of 18 from 3, and they had a lot of good looks in this game. And they're an elite shooting backcourt. We can argue about the threes, we can argue about whatever, but those two guys have consistently shot the ball well. And so that's where I think where can they get more on the roster from? That's certainly one area.
Let me ask you, since you brought him up, Noah, Peyton Pritchard tonight struggled. 2 of 10 from the field, 1 of 7 from 3. This after a Wednesday game where he particularly wasn't great either. Anything to read into that? I mean, again, we understand we're two games into the season here, but we're going off of what we're seeing. That's all we can really do. He's now in the starting lineup. Are you, Bobby, Noah, Sherrod, anybody notice? I already asked Sherrod this, but are you noticing a different approach to his game, being that he's in the starting lineup, or is this just simply getting adjusted to new teammates more so than a new role?
I think there's Peyton Pritchard. I can say from my standpoint, Jimmy, because I feel like I need to answer for Peyton just in general. But
you did bring him into this.
It's a combination of things. One is he's in a shooting slump. You go back to even since preseason, he's been in a shooting slump. And as a rule, I don't overreact to shooting slumps of guys that have consistently been good shooters in their NBA careers. We can do this when Sam Hauser has his inevitable shooting slump later in the season and be like, oh, what happened to Sam? He's 2 for his last 30. And we know Sam Hauser's a great shooter and he'll bounce back, as he had a great shooting game tonight, right? So that's the first thing, is that regardless of role, regardless of bench, starter, whatever else, he is in a shooting slump right now. And I would imagine that ends. 2 years ago, he started the season even worse shooting wise. It was a disaster from him offensively, and he was still on the floor because Joe trusted him in other areas. The jury's out to me about whether he is better as a starter or coming off the bench. Obviously, Anthony Simons has started every game for the last 3 years, and Peyton Pritchard's basically come off the bench, and they've switched that heading into the season. And Joe's told us that substitution patterns could change and starting lineups are subject to change. And I would not be surprised if they tried at some point Anthony Simons as a starter and Pritchard as a bench if this continues. Same thing with maybe you bring Chris Boucher in at some point. I think there's a lot of tinkering that could still happen. Ultimately, Anthony Simons has been playing basically starter level minutes. He had 27 minutes in this game. So that I don't know. I mean, he said it himself last year. He was great as a starter, and it was one game that he came off the bench and he struggled. And we're not going to overreact to that game plus these two. But if it extends for the next few weeks, maybe you do look at potentially him coming off and playing that role. But to me, a lot of the misses from both of these games was just he just missed shots. I don't think it was necessary, and a little bit out of rhythm and a little bit not the kinds of looks that he's always used to getting with his team. But I don't think we need to overreact to that either.
It looked like he was being defended pretty heavily too in this one.
Right. He's facing a lot of pressure. And I thought that was going to be something that it would be intriguing to watch this year, is him actually catching more opponents. What did Doc say last year? I had his name circled. I told them Peyton Pritchard. Not many teams were doing that, though, actually. Whether they were talking about it or not. Like, he was breaking free, getting open shots. Now he's someone that you're scouting for, that you're planning for being a significant part of what this team's doing here. So he's dealing with that. Everybody's dealing with that to some degree, especially for a guy who likes to dribble and create his own shot. I think that's going to be something that he works on throughout this season to improve at. I do have a thought on the starting lineup thing, but first, I just saw this from Grandy. The second quarter was the worst quarter loss in Celtics history.
Wow.
Really?
Damn.
28 points.
That's kind of
unbelievable.
shocking to me. Is that real?
28-point quarter loss is a lot. Like, that's a
I
lot.
feel like
for
I've
a
sat
team.
through worse quarters.
I know. That's why I'm like, I'm pausing at that. But I mean, it was a really bad second quarter. Don't get me wrong. And I thought the last couple minutes were just atrocious basketball, sloppy by Boston to allow the Knicks to go up by 20 there. It felt like it was like a 12-point game. Then all of a sudden it was a 20-point game.
And I knew this was going to be a bad match. Noah hates when I say it. There's no chance they're winning this one. They're definitely losing this one. But
because that's just wrong.
It's the second quarter, and he's like, it's over.
That's how I felt
the
going
game.
in.
Before the game started.
Before the game?
Like, there's no way.
He looks at the games on the schedule and he's like, automatic loss, automatic win. It's like, you can't. It's
the reason
in Bobby's defense, he was right. He was right tonight.
No, but that's not how it works.
They had no chance when you look back on it. Maybe if everyone on the Knicks just got sick in the middle of the game and had to leave. But
sure.
The problem I had with this matchup for them is the rebounding you knew was going to be monstrous from the Knicks. Like, that's just something they do great. So this is an extreme version of this, kind of losses the Celtics going to suffer on that end. They're aggressive defensively, disrupt and get out on the run. Like, we watched it in the playoff series. As much as the Celtics are a completely different team and the Knicks have tinkered and gotten a new coach here, like, they do this stuff hard. Towns being aggressive, like, some of the on-ball defenders they have. Like, this is a vicious, physical, fast, aggressive team. And where the Celtics are weak right now, they were perfectly suited to expose that. So, Jimmy, as much as, like, I'm sure you were in agony watching this, I texted you and was like, this might be the best team in the East. So, Philly, we have no idea, right? Let's see where they're at.
This might be the best team in the East, Bobby, but I would, not to cut you off, but they didn't even play that kid tonight.
Right.
No, they didn't. But I thought
easily.
I thought when the Celtics played well, it was Boston doing some good things too, though. Like, I don't think, like, when the Celtics went on some runs there and had some good moments, that was all the Knicks just letting up and fooling around. I think the Celtics have done some good things for stretches here.
Mm-hmm.
It's just kind of all connected. Noah, I mean, you were looking at a lot of the rotations and substitutions throughout this game. Is it being tough on guys? Is it pulling them out when they're making mistakes, or are they searching right now? Because this was an even more extreme example of Joe going deeper into his rotation and subbing guys in and out than what we even saw on opening night. And even in the preseason, I felt like.
Yeah, I didn't think that the first quarter hockey subs was him being tough on guys because they were playing well in that first stint. I think it's just he's searching for something. He's trying out different things. Like, it's very unorthodox to do what he did in the middle of that first quarter, where you bring in 5 completely new players. And honestly, it kind of worked. I mean, that was a good quarter. What were they up by 8 entering the second? I was almost like, did Joe find something with bringing in a brand new 5 that have more opportunities and chemistry together potentially? And then obviously that first quarter didn't end up becoming so relevant by the time we got to halftime. But that actually went the other direction, because it wasn't like he was punishing those 5 guys, right?
No,
right,
for sure.
I think. I mean, he did hint at it in the preseason there. I did find it to be probably unnecessary, but I think to your guys' point, he looks down at the bench and he sees basically like 7 through 12 could be anybody on any given night at this point, right? I mean, I think guys are going to slowly maybe slot into their roles on the depth chart, and one of those guys I want to sort of lead into right now. You guys are talking about possible starting lineup changes. I got people all over the place saying, start this guy right here. I can put this up on the screen, if this works.
I thought it was crazy
How
to
about-
say he might average 15 minutes a game, huh, Jimmy?
How about? I never said it was crazy, Noah. I never.
No
Well,
one's
well,
taking
John's
the
not
early
here, and
victory lap.
you're the closest thing to John right now.
No, ouch.
The
That is
early
the
victory
meanest thing
lap.
you've ever
Be
said to me.
careful.
It's too soon.
Noah
It's too soon.
on Twitter, I really think that Ugo Gonzalez is going to become a great NBA player.
I don't think we need to use these tweets like I said something so profound
And
that we're
listen, we're giving you. Listen, we're leading. We're using that as our lead-in, Noah, to the Ugo segment that I know everybody wants to have. Everybody, we're trying to find some silver linings in tonight's game, and I think we got a big one tonight with his performance. So, Noah, we'll start with you, since it was one of your bold predictions that he was going to. I mean, basically, you said Rookie of the Year. As you were close to saying that. So
I did not. No,
this
you
is
would have
not-
said that. You, Mr. They don't make a single 2-point shot the entire game.
That's still possible. There's a lot of games left to play.
Honestly-
but you have the floor
Okay.
on Ugo.
I love Ugo. I mean, I felt this way from preseason. It's not about he's scoring the ball incredibly well, or even like nothing on the box score jumps out at you. But watching him play, I think everybody I've talked to, media members, everybody, like he has it. He just has this feel for the game, especially on the defensive end. But honestly, offensively, he's not as behind as I thought he would be, considering how young he is and how he really wasn't advertised as a huge defender, as an offensive player. Like he just has it. And to come into and make your NBA debut at Madison Square Garden, basically with a team already losing by quite a bit and really struggling, because that was really where he played the bulk of his minutes, was in that second half. Like he brought a level of intensity and tenacity on that end that nobody else really had. And Jaylen said in postgame, he was like, it can't just be the rookie, but credit to him for coming in and playing with that pace. And this is what we've seen from him really all of preseason as well. So Summer League, I think you saw flashes of it, and Sam Hauser saw that post game. But I think training camp and really getting up to speed with the system made a huge difference for him, because when we saw him again 8 weeks later, to me, he looked very different on that end. And this is why a lot of people had projected him to be a lottery pick before last year, and why some people thought he was a steal in this draft, was because a year ago, everybody thought he was going to be a top 10 pick, and then he just doesn't play at Real Madrid, right? But he's still the same guy with the same physical abilities. So that's my number one takeaway from this game, is if we're thinking about the future, like I think this guy is going to be an important part of the Celtics' future.
Well, right
And
now, go ahead. You got it, Bobby.
I was gonna say his stoicism impresses me too. Like he's not getting caught away with this being his first night. Did you guys listen to his sound?
No.
Oh, incredible sound.
He
all-time sound.
It's
Yeah,
on
he
it.
wasn't
It's on it.
He wasn't getting caught up in this moment. Like he was tough on himself for losing, didn't want to celebrate his first game because they lost. And then I asked him, how do you become such a good defender? Because I think we all came out of this game saying, wow, that was great defense from him, great energy. And he was like, I'm not going to talk about being a good defender on a night Brunson scored 30. So we learned that about him in Summer League. That he's tough on himself, holds himself to a high standard. Definitely a reason Joe likes him. But that impressed me post game and even before the game, because I went in the locker room, he was hanging out in there, and I talked to him for a couple minutes, just because I think we were all a little confused by that moment, Jimmy, where he went to the scores table on opening night and then had to walk back. And like I said, it was about matchups, it was about flow of the game. Like sometimes things don't come together in those moments, and he responded pretty well to that. No, I remember like he just kind of like jogged to the bench and like had a almost a little grin on his face, and just kept his energy up. So
high fives.
The guy's professional, and it shows when we talk to him. It shows on the court. The way he handles himself, clearly you look at his body and his physique, like that looks professional too. And I think, like we've all said, that puts him in a better position, even though he's young, to succeed immediately with this team, because he's been through big games. Even tonight he got asked about the atmosphere and was he nervous, and he was like, no, I've played in big arenas all over Europe. So it was impressive. Like that's the word I just keep using with him over and over and over again. I'm so impressed, because we didn't know anything about him. No one even heard of him. He didn't play over there. Like this is all a pleasant surprise for everybody. I'm sure even the Celtics, who, as we've said, we're probably expecting him to be in Maine this year, and that does not look like it's going to happen right now.
Yeah, well, the surprise I think for the Celtics with Hugo, you have to it's relative to where they got him. I mean, if he were a top 10 pick and he played like this, we would be like, oh, okay, well, this is what you're supposed to do when you're picked that high. But the fact that he was picked, near the end of the first round, a late first round pick, where guys are fortunate enough to just, actually be on the active roster and not with the G League affiliate is a victory of sorts. And the fact that he's going to play, there's no doubt he's going to play because the things that he does, you can't replicate energy. You either play with great energy or you don't. It's not something that you can just kind of put in a bottle, put a package on it, and ship it to wherever it needs to go to, and it's going to be there. And that's what they need, because right now they don't have the ability to have guys that when they go into games, if this guy wins his matchup or if the better player at that position performs well, the Celtics win, because many positions now they don't have the advantage at that position. So that you're going to need wild cards. You're going to need X factors. You're going to need guys like Ugo to come in there, cause a little chaos, and give your team a chance to win and be a agitator / disruptor. I love the fact that he spent a lot of time guarding Brunson. That is going to help.
Amazing. Talk about impressive. That's your first NBA matchup for the most part tonight. Yeah. Unreal.
Yeah.
And they were going. Sorry, Sherrod, what were we saying?
No, I was just going to say, and he didn't get smoked. I mean, Brunson made tough shots, but that's what you want. I mean, if he's going to make shots, make sure that you're contesting them and making him shoot in as uncomfortable situation and surroundings as possible. And I thought Ugo, for the most part, did that.
I thought he was doing the best he could, putting a body on Brunson, and he wasn't getting any whistles, that's for sure. Nothing was going his way. So I do, hats off to Ugo. I want to see, I said this to Sherrod early in the show, I want to see the shot a little bit. I want to see what we're working with here in terms of the jump shot, because ultimately that's going to make or break his career, right? I love the effort. I love that he's a kind of a pest out there and he's all over the place. And that's what you want to see out of a bench player who's trying to carve a role for himself and just affect winning basketball in any way he can. Now, we do have some of that Ugo sound that you guys mentioned. We're going to go to that right now and see what he had to say after this game and his NBA debut.
Out there tonight, first game. NBA.
All good. We got the win. And most important thing, we were playing a good basketball today. We were trying to make it the things that we were doing in practice. I think that we'll be practicing a lot. I'm happy because it's the first win, but still preseason. Still need to figure out a lot of things.
Did the level feel noticeably different from Summer League?
I mean, of course, it's a raised up level, I would say. Also different pace. We want to play with a pace that not much teams want to play like. We want to make them uncomfortable. So probably also, apart from the highest level, we also have improved from.
Hold on, I don't think this is from tonight.
I feel like you were able to show
what?
I mean,
I don't think this is tonight.
Wait, this is not from tonight.
What is this from?
I don't know.
Damn it, Amit. Hey,
I was looking at the whiteboard. I was like, wait, that's not New York.
Okay, I was like, I must be tripping out, so I just didn't say anything.
I didn't know what, dude. Listen,
I'm
like Ron. Listen, I'm Ron Burgundy
Bobby,
up here, guys.
That took us.
You put something in front of me.
Point out.
I'm hitting play.
I just saw Ugo. I'm like, oh.
Well, the problem was I couldn't really hear it that well, so I didn't know exactly what he was even saying.
It's an all-time Garden Report fail, and the fail is on our part, Bobby, because he did 4 questions before either of us said it.
Yeah. Sherrod, where are our reporters?
There we go. There's Ugo.
Telling us that, that wasn't the right one.
all good.
Oh my God.
We got
One
the right
more
one
time.
now? Damn it, Amit. All right, let's try this again.
Wow.
We lost the game that we could.
Thank you so much.
Working in detail with our people there.
What is going on here?
Listen, it's all good.
Okay, let's see if we can get this one more time.
Well, luckily for me, I got experience in other arenas in Europe that are crazy, so that plays in my side. But yeah, of course, that's making my NBA debut. That's something that happens every day.
Did Joe tell you something before the game, before you went in, of what he wanted to see from you?
No, just play with energy. Yeah, play with energy, I would say.
What are you trying to do against Brunson?
You did that.
What are you trying to take away when you pick him up?
Well, I guess player like that, you can do many things. You just can try to make him feel uncomfortable. He still did a really good game, so we gotta still focusing on our defensive end and then how we're able to run it.
How did you become such a good defender? Like, what would you credit?
Well, I would say
Bobby already crowning him
Jaylen Brown
Defensive Player of the Year.
30 points today, so it's not the day to say that I'm a great defender. I would say that.
Seriously.
But still, just I try to have my energy and to have whatever Joe is asking me to do. That's my job right now, so I'll do it every time.
You said you guys are still working on the details. What does that look like getting better game to game? Like, it seems like you guys are really honing in on those at certain points, but then other times it goes away. Like, what goes into doing it consistently?
Well, when I say we're focusing on the details, it's not a process, but something that is going to be for all 82 games. We want to have our basics and then focus on our details, because at the end of the day, details is what wins the games, you know. So basically, having those details, rotations, personnel, whatever, to make plays and win the game at the end.
Was there anything that surprised you tonight?
Well, I would say it was a physical game. Two teams that really want to win, really competitive teams, so that'll be it.
Thanks,
Good.
Thank you, Ugo.
Thank you, Ugo.
All right.
Impressive
That
stuff.
was Ugo Gonzalez, the correct
The updated
correct
version.
video. Let me get that off the screen here. I gotta, guys. We gotta interrupt this segment to put up this super chat that we just
Yeah, I was
got.
gonna say.
Since we're talking about the young guys, a massive shout out to, I don't even know how to say this, Derek W. Kim Edit, something like that. 200 bones.
Wow.
Split four.
And
Guys,
there's no country code on the back of that, so this is like USD.
no, that's USD. This isn't like the
Yeah.
stuff we get sometimes from Timbuktu. No offense to the people out there. We love it. We love
We love our
all the
Timbuktu.
donations. I don't even know where that is. He says, need to play the young guys. I'm going to need much more Ugo until JT comes back. Drinks and vegan pizzas. No,
Wow.
on me. Thank you very much for that. We are
Oh,
going to.
God.
I don't know what's better, the
Use
$200
that
or
wisely.
the vegan pizza.
The $200.
You can get a pretty good vegan pizza for that money, Noah. So
I had vegan pizza at MSG tonight.
It sounds like dinner on Derek. So we do appreciate that, Derek.
I-
Well, you know,
I tried
we'll
vegan
leave-
pizza in Memphis.
Does that mean that we all have to have
Wasn't
dinner together?
No, it
Yeah, it
does
does.
Yes.
Is that
It's not
so
worth it
bad?
in that case.
Is that really so
Sherrod's like,
bad?
absolutely not.
Come on, Sherrod.
Sherrod's like, it
Now,
does
how many
not have
media-
to be together.
how
Come
many
on,
media
vegan
dinners
pizza, Sherrod.
did we share, Sherrod?
Also,
We've had
Bobby,
some
can
media
you-
dinners together.
Can you confirm that vegan pizza is not cardboard? It was good today.
I didn't love
Huh?
it.
Okay.
What goes
never
into
mind.
vegan pizza?
Bo-
Like what
mute
makes it
mute
ve-
mute him.
Yeah, he's out. Is it just like cauliflower or something?
Oh,
And
Fuck,
he's
I'm
gone.
did
Noah!
did you do that? Sorry. I'm sorry.
No, and then you swore. Oh,
She
my
totally
Hey,
did that.
Sorry.
Look at I get no respect as the host. People are just pushing buttons, removing
Sorry.
people, muting people. Bobby's muted here. All right, let's reel it in for a second. I'm gonna put the chat of staying up for a minute. Is there some truth to what Derek is saying that maybe it's just a young guy season? You know, give me Ugo, give me. I mean, unfortunately, there's not a lot more young guys to really care about playing, but do we just want to see more cowbell? Is that what we're looking for here? We got to have more cowbell, right? Bobby's
Bobby, you're
muted because
muted.
Noah muted him. That's what happened.
You gotta play guys.
No, we know why.
You gotta play guys
that?
who are playing good. And how many guys off
there
the
you
bench are playing good right now? Like there aren't many. So
Right.
that's a default. Not saying you got to start them, but as this year goes on, you're going to adjust and probably settle into some rotations. And listen, it's one game. Who knows how it's going to look over an extended stretch here? But the energy he played with is something you can do consistently. And it was so disruptive. There was like a 3-play stretch there where he was getting either a deflection or forcing a bad pass or just doing something to increase the defensive activity. So it's a no-brainer right now. I mean, who do you like more than him right now off the bench among the wings? Like even Boucher, to me, I had high hopes for, hasn't given them much. So
he was shot chucking it up tonight.
How many minutes did he play tonight?
22. 22.
I mean, that's gonna happen if he's playing well. Like it's gonna be there for him every night.
So he might average 15 minutes a game. Is that what you're saying, Bobby?
That might not be so bold after all, will it? I mean,
it was a tough start with 0, but 22 gets you a little closer.
Yeah.
You know, let's just say that the bench was playing good, Bobby. Is this just one of those seasons, though, that, you know, why not play the kids, as John would be screaming right now if he was on?
No, I mean, they're not playing Walsh. They're not playing Shireman. So you have to earn it, and he earned it tonight.
There might be a point where that changes. Like if they're having a terrible season and, you know, they're not in the playoff mix, there might be a point where they do kind of just give Jordan and Baylor and some of the more recent draft picks and young guys more run, but they're not going to panic at this point in the season. I mean, yes, they lost these 2 games, but they easily could have won both of these games if a couple things go differently. And I don't think it's been all bad. And I honestly don't think they've played that well considering like what they have. So that could change, but they're trying to win every game right now. Like Joe's not going to just like play the young guys because in the big picture, like that would be good for their development, you know?
Derek gets all the posts he wants tonight, so I'm just gonna post all his super chats. Okay, so big night for Ugo. That's kind of the silver lining in this one. We do have some Jaylen Brown sound, guys, and we can't do a show without getting to Jaylen Brown. Is it worth playing the Jaylen Brown stuff? Were you guys there for that? Did you have anything to say?
You can play the first minute.
Nothing.
You cut it.
Yeah, couple questions.
All right,
let's about us
see
people. I mean, let's
Absolutely.
I know, but I don't want to waste people's time. We'll see what Jaylen has to say.
We had a lot of chances tonight, even though New York felt like they were in control. We were still in striking distance. And we make a couple of shots, get a couple of rebounds, and some other plays go our way to right in the game. So we just got to keep our head up and get better every single game. I got some stuff that I see that I can work on and see how to get other guys open and find them easier looks. So I'm learning too. I'm learning in this new role, trying to find ways to make everybody around me better.
How much does it help that you've been through so many experiences in your career? Like, do you look back to certain points where you might have gone through struggles or just individually or as a team?
Yeah. And when adversity happens, that's where you get to, step up and show, your leadership. We got some good talent on this team, and tonight wasn't our best night, but we get ready for the next one. Watch some film. I got opportunities to get better. For me, I got to play a little bit better, make it easier for some guys, and we got to have a little bit more structure, organization. I think New York did a good job of being physical and kind of knocking us off, but it's a long journey. We got to get better every single day.
What did you like about what Ugo brought for you guys today?
Yeah, Ugo's looking great, man. Ugo's playing with energy. He's playing with fight. That's the type of mentality that we need. He's picking up guys. I like what I've seen him, how he was guarding some of the other team's best players. And we need more of that. We need more of what Ugo's got. Can't be just from the rook.
Is it time to be patient, Jaylen, or time to be urgent, or some combination thereof? What do you feel like?
In what context?
Just in general, you guys, like, as you're finding that identity, are you feeling urgent at 0-2? Are you feeling like patience is called for because you're figuring each other out?
It's both. I think patience and urgency. I think we are. This is a good test for us to kind of see where we're at. We learning from every film session. I'm learning how to, find guys in rhythm, how to get guys going, and et cetera. So tonight it wasn't our best outing. We were a little bit out of sync. It was, the spacing wasn't great. So we just got to figure out how to put 48 minutes together. So it's urgency for sure, but it's also a patience with this group. It's a lot of new guys on our team that are, figuring out how to be consistent in what our role is every single night.
Jen, you guys forced 20 turnovers. You stopped them from really shooting it pretty well, but the offensive rebounding, the fouls. what's going to be kind of the navigating kind of those things that guard the way you do, and if you have a good defensive night, but they're finding ways to score in other ways. How are you guys going to kind of navigate through
Rebounding
that?
was a big one. I got to do better, get on the glass. You just got to, and a lot of them were long rebounds, and they just kind of didn't go our way. We got to figure out how to come up with those. I think that was a big, huge deflator for us when the other team, we play good, solid defense, and then they get an offensive rebound, and they get another attempt. Other than that, I thought our defense was not bad. How much did they finish with? 105? 105 points. It's not a bad defensive outing with all those rebounds and things that we gave up. So we get better on the glass. We figure out some continuity. We get on the same page on offense. I think, we have a lot of potential and upside, but, we got some growth that needs to take place. I'm learning every single day. This is a good game to learn from, so I'm looking forward to the next one.
There was a play. I'm sorry.
All right, that's enough, Jaylen. I think we're gonna go from Jaylen right into this next segment, and it's strictly by coincidence. If I can find it here, tell me we have it. Tell me, dear God, that we have it.
You have it, Jimmy.
Hit me with it. Come on, hit me with it. Dude, I get no respect.
I was gonna say, damn, did she just disappear? Oh,
Well done. That was pretty good.
Thank you.
It's that time of night, folks. Blame
Noah's
time.
favorite part of the show. This is Noah's favorite part of the show.
I'm told that Noah and Bobby have to dip out, so we're gonna wrap things up right now. We're gonna do blame pie, and then we'll get them on air. Noah, I hate to say it, but this might be a blame pie heavy season the way things are shaping up. We're not going to do it after every loss. We're not going to do it after every loss, but I think we just need to get in the groove of being able to dish the pie out. It's coming up on the holidays.
It's antithetical to the sport. It's a team sport. It just doesn't make sense to slice it up.
That's
And
why
then
it's
some
a
guys
pie.
are resolved.
It's a team effort.
Yeah, but
blame.
okay, I'll go last.
All this yapping, and no one's even giving out blame right now. Who wants?
I'll
You want to
give
go
mine
last,
first.
Noah? Okay, Bobby, you go first.
I'm going last.
So I have to serve up a healthy slice for Pritchard so far to start the year, and I was high on him coming in. Rough debut. Misses the game winner in the first game as well. And then tonight, 2 for 10. Just slow shooting, and it goes back to the preseason, too. I don't have the numbers right in front of me of the cumulative, but it's probably like 20%, I would guess, in that range. So he said after that Toronto game in the preseason, just, poor shooting right now. I'm sure getting used to the amount of minutes and the amount of things he has to do out there, just biting into that a little bit. I thought, that hit White tonight, too. To some degree, and this team just isn't shooting great as a whole right now outside of a few guys. So I'm going to give him, I don't want it to be too huge, but 33% for Pritchard. I will give.
That's a big cut of the pie.
That's a big piece of pie.
I will give Boucher, let's say.
Wow.
Yeah, he hasn't given you anything through. He hasn't really given me anything through 2 games here.
Unbelievable. Boucher had a couple of blocks tonight.
Yeah, he was decent. It's just the offense. He doesn't really give you much of anything on offense right now. And obviously, Jaylen said this too. They held the Knicks to 105 here. They scored 95. They needed more offense in this one, as bad as the defense was at times. So let me give him 33.
Boucher's getting 33% of the blame pie.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to.
What is it?
I thought.
You ever baked a pie before? Unbelievable.
I thought Jaylen was fine in this one. Sam gave them a lot. Kata, I thought even was pretty solid too in this one. Took a step. Tillman gave them some good minutes.
Finish your pie.
I'm gonna give the other 33 here to Derek. A lot of missed shots.
Okay.
Wow.
It's a 3-way pie.
White,
tonight. Derek, Pritchard,
Boucher, and Pritchard.
Poor Boucher. Guy can't
Wow.
sift the court, and he's getting
Yeah.
1/3 of the blame.
Damn.
Sherrod, you want to go? Or you want me to go?
You know what? Hold
Yeah,
Bobby,
Oh.
Bobby,
This is
you've
another
taken up
problem.
enough time.
We gotta go.
Can I just
Take
we
can I
gotta-
make a
enough.
I'm
programming
gonna
note?
fix it real quick. I didn't want to put Jaylen in there, but I forgot about the turnovers. So let's go 25, 20. No, 33 Jaylen, 33 Pritchard, and then
Are we losing
whatever
watchers
half
right
of
now?
33 is.
16.5, 16.5.
Thank you, Professor. Yeah.
Damn.
So there you go. Boucher and White.
Okay.
Okay.
That's
Sorry, I didn't have Brown in there, and he should have been with the turnovers.
This is, guys, and for the record, this is why we do the blame pie early in the year. We cannot be having.
I
this.
went first. It's hard going for. Noah didn't want to go
You
first.
volunteered, Bobby. You were
Yeah.
like me.
We've
gotta
lost
get
15 viewers since the blame pie segment began.
Because Bobby went on a rampage.
Bobby, how does
here.
it feel to know that you're costing the company?
Hey,
Bobby,
it's midnight.
out of
People
the
are
kitchen,
going
man.
out.
All right, Sherrod, you want to go? You can dish
Yeah,
out the
I got
pie.
it. All right, here we go. 25% goes to Pritchard because Pritchard has been very bad. Among their big three, he's been the worst of the big three. I give Jaylen Brown 20% because Jaylen Brown has been average, but they can't win with average Jaylen Brown. His numbers, you look at his numbers, they're good, but they need to be better. So
You're
he
at
gets
40 for 5 right now.
Then I give another 20 to Joe Mazzulla because he's the coach. This is on him. There's some decisions he's made that haven't quite worked out as well as they could have and should have. So he gets 20%. And the remaining 35 I split between Derek White, and Jason Tatum because he
I love it.
is why we're in this situation.
That's
to begin
creative.
with.
No.
That is creative. I'm giving
Tatum
Jaylen.
has
I'm
to be
going to give
absolved from
Jason
blame
Tatum.
pies all year.
I'm going to give Jason Tatum
He gets a sliver. He gets like 10%.
He gets a celebrity slice, and Bobby's just disgusted.
I didn't
by
take
the-
him this time. I didn't leave
by the
Bobby.
Tatum slice. I'll go quickly.
obviously Jaylen Brown, right?
Yeah, I'll go quickly. I'm gonna do 30% Jaylen Brown, and he's gonna get the. No, I'm gonna do 40% Jaylen Brown, and he's gonna get the biggest slice of everybody.
Damn.
'Cause he's your alpha this year. He's your superstar. He's your star, and I don't know. And I mean, I'm sure Noah and Bobby will get down to it. I don't know if he's dealing with anything physically. Obviously, we know about the hamstring a little bit. He just looks slow out there, Noah. 7 turnovers tonight. I don't see the attack in him yet, and maybe he's just ramping up for whatever reason. It's a good thing he gets a big slice of the blame pie because if this was the Jaylen Brown we all knew, we would be in huge trouble. The hope is that he can elevate his game. So he's getting 40%. I'm going to give 20% to Derek White because I feel like his shots have been – when he's missing right now, he's really missing. Some of his shots are just wildly off. So he gets 20, so that puts us at 60. Pritchard's going to get 30 because I agree with you, Sherrod. He's been pretty abysmal in his first 2 games shooting, and he basically, he's out there because he can score in bunches, right? So I'm at 90%, and I'll give the last percent. Going to give the last 10% to Mazzulla because this is a Mazzulla season, right? He's going to have to make a lot of adjustments, a lot of coaching changes. And I think he tried to do a little bit tonight. So I'm not necessarily blaming him for the loss per se, but I think that it's on him to get these guys going. Bobby's back. And Noah, Bobby, you're back just in time for Noah's. And then we're going to get everybody out of here. And we'll see y'all Sunday.
Okay, 30% for Jaylen, 30% for Peyton, 30% for Derek. I think those 3 guys are you're going to need more from on a typical night this season. Obviously, Derek and Peyton had off shooting nights, Jaylen with the turnovers. I'll give maybe the last 10 to Anthony Simons, who has I know we haven't talked about a whole lot. I actually like his intensity in so far this season. I actually like watching him play, but they need him to score more. They need him to be more aggressive, and 10 points for him off the bench in 27 minutes. Like if that's going to be his thing, is, he's a bucket getter. It might not even be, it might be more how he's being used and more, maybe he's not being featured enough or they're not looking for him enough, but you want him to be a bigger offensive contributor because there's already a shortage of options. I was looking through the other guys. I honestly think Keita for what it was gave you a pretty good night. Sam Hauser had a very good night. He was probably one of the standouts here. Ugo standout. Xavier Tillman in his 13 minutes, I thought he did some good things, got some offensive rebounds, made all 3 of his shots. So I never want to put the blame on just a few people, but those are the guys that I have the most faith in. So they're going to always be held to the high standard. But
this was hard. They lost pretty bad in this one all around. So there's a lot of blame to go around.
Yeah, we could tell it was hard for you, man. Like you like threw Boucher under the bus. So
I'm pretty disappointed.
I thought Boucher, actually, I don't know why Boucher only played 15 minutes. I thought that he was one of the guys alongside Ugo that really kind of turned up the defensive intensity. So, like, that's actually
needs to play more.
Yeah,
I think he needs to play more, and I think you're going to see more
part
of Ugo
of the solution for shaking up the rotation. Yeah.
I think, he's got obviously NBA experience. He's a guy that I think they're going to eventually turn to a little bit more as Joe Mazzulla tries to round out this, this rotation, get the depth chart in order and get into, I should say, the win column as the Celtics drop this one 105-95 to the Knicks. Once again, our show is brought to you by Prize Picks. Download Prize Picks and use the code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup, and make sure you play your lineup on Sunday. Celtics, Pistons, I think that's a 3:30 start. We will have you guys covered in full. We'll be out there in Detroit. We'll be here at home, ready to talk about this game. Hopefully the Celtics can win this one, or we're going to be stuck watching Bobby's beard continue to grow, which I don't think anybody wants to see. We will sign off from here, guys. Amit, hit me with the outro. Please hit me with the outro.